I'm not exactly sure Trump supporters vote. I'm not. I'm not sure. I have some doubts. I'm sure that a good portion of them probably vote, but I've seen some evidence, if you will, that I don't think some of them did. And it's kind of baffling. It's kind of baffling. One thing I heard or read that this was an article from CNN that I saw a couple weeks ago that there were some people who stormed the Capitol. I think I saw like 8 arrests of people who were arrested for storming the Capitol on January 6th, 2021. 8 of them didn't vote in the past election. I'm not sure if they've ever voted at all. And then what sparked this podcast episode of the McTaggart Attack podcast today was last night. I had posted a video on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok at McTaggart Attack. And I got a comment. The video was about the verdict in the impeachment trial, and I had said how there were 43 senators who voted not guilty, that President Trump didn't try to kill them when he did try to kill them. So I got a comment from someone, and they basically said, oh, Biden's not my president. Trump 2024. Go ahead and find the video on my TikTok account to see that I'm telling the truth, because I am. So, normally in these situations, there's the angry back and forth saying, oh no, my president's better than your president, blah, 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 blah. This argument. I don't like to argue on social media. I don't. I'm not a fan of it. But what I decided to do was I wanted to know why this person was a Trump supporter. So I asked them why they were a Trump supporter, and they told me how he puts people first, puts America first, something like that. I don't remember exactly what they said to that question. And my next question was, have you always voted Republican? Because I'm just thinking, if you're going to vote for Trump, possibly you've never like voted Republican before, you know? Because I know that there's a lot of people out there in middle class, lower class income people who had no hope voted for Trump in 2016 and in 2020 because he gave them hope. So I asked this person, how have you always voted Republican? I actually fucked up the question at first because autocorrect sucks. I didn't realize I typed the question wrong. It Shears Republican was the question. How long have you Shears Republican? So they replied back to me, what the hell do you mean? And I'm like, wait, this is the actual question I was trying to ask. How long have you always voted Republican? And they replied back and said that they've never actually voted. They've never actually voted. In this person's case, they are a single parent and they have an autistic child. So they've never voted. In that particular situation, I mean, maybe it's possible that, you don't have the time You have to pay attention to, especially in that type of situation. Being a single parent with an autistic child, they need constant attention. You can't just go out, you know, to do that. But I would like to think that you could find the time to vote or get a babysitter or something. You probably. I'm not trying to get into the personals of this person's life, but I'm just like. The point I'm trying to get at is if you're a Trump supporter and you don't vote, are you actually a Trump supporter? Because there was that instance that I had with that one person, and then there was those people that were arrested for storming the Capitol that weren't that have never voted or hadn't voted. What are you supporting then? If you didn't vote in the first place, you know? It's sort of similar to something I said when people were so upset in 2016 when Trump won. And all the millennials were upset. And I'm like, that's great, but you should have fucking voted. All these Trump supporters are upset that Trump lost, but apparently they didn't vote. Did they not vote because Trump told them for months before the election that the election was rigged? So if the election was rigged, what the fuck is the point in voting? But they'll still support Trump no matter what? Well, there is a no matter what. The no matter what is you have to vote in order to truly support him. Or any candidate. Or anyone for that matter. If you're going to support someone, you can't just say that you support someone. You have to vote for them. It's like that Seinfeld episode with the when he gets the rental car and he reserves the rental car, but he doesn't get the rental car because they didn't have a car for him. You can't just, take the reservation and not have a car. You can't just say that you support them and not vote. I would hope that 8 million people were Trump supporters who didn't vote. I don't think the number's that big. But still, it's pretty funny that there's people who are going, yeah, Trump 2024, yeah, Trump 2020, yeah, but I didn't vote. I'm like, do you not know what that means? If you're supporting them, you have to vote for them. You have to vote for them. Because if you're voting for a rigged election, you're not voting, you're not supporting him, you're supporting... I don't know what the fuck you're supporting if you're not voting. I at least vote for the president, every year. I think I do election. I vote on election day every single year. It's just ridiculous. Why the hell aren't you voting? How can you be a Trump supporter and not vote? How can you be a supporter of anything and not vote? It's just silly to me. I'm like, you didn't vote? I had this person on TikTok who said that they didn't vote, even though they're a Trump supporter, and they think he's great. You don't apparently think he's that great if you didn't vote for him in the first place. If you've never voted. You've never voted? Yet you claim to be a Trump supporter? Which is fine. Thank you for not voting. As a non-Trump supporter, I appreciate the fact that you didn't vote, but still it kind of baffles me that Trump supporters didn't vote. Did they not know what they were supposed to do? That they did Trump supporters didn't vote, apparently. And that's hilarious to me. And it's sad, but I'm sure everybody has their reasons for not voting, but if you're going to support a political candidate, regardless of who the fuck it is, and not vote, then you're not supporting them. You're not you're if you're going to support Donald Trump and not vote, then you're not a Trump supporter. You're just an idiot. Thank you so much for watching and or listening to the episode today. I really appreciate it. Please be sure to let me know what you thought. And that's the bottom line. If you smell what the McTaggart Attack podcast is cooking.